Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone, and I'd like to wish everyone who partakes a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, or anything else you are celebrating today, whether it just be being alive or a special day. We've got four great decks for you today. One I got an Infinity Border with, an Infinity Ticket with, one that I immediately took into the top 100. It's a classic list, but one that I've been absolutely dominating with this season, and then two other great lists from top creators, including one of our most classic lists here on the channel ever. It is still one of the best decks, and we'll talk about why we're featuring it. We've also got a bundle review and relatively big Marvel Snap news. We're going to begin with the only Bruce Banner deck that I have thus far tried. I immediately played this on stream to an Infinity Ticket. It is the I'm not actually sure who made the original version of this deck. We're going to credit KM Best. I think it might have been Derek, because I know Derek was at one point Havoc Enjoyer. But either which way, I basically cut Cassandra Nova and added Bruce Banner. I never really wanted to play Cassandra Nova unless I was playing against arishem, and Bruce is fundamentally just a more consistent thing I can do. Um, and right, because Cassandra generally sits in hand if Bruce happens to trigger, great. If Bruce doesn't happen to trigger, fine. And my opponent has to respect it. It gives me all this extra snap equity and power in the game. Bruce did lose me a game, right? He immediately did lose me a game. I was silly and did a double copy of Bruce with Nico, and Bruce got Death Striked in one lane, and then the lane that he turned into Hulk, he got Shanged in, and that didn't feel great. But outside of that, he was better than expected. A meta card, a required card? No, I do not believe so, but better than expected. This list does put up really, really unexpected power, as just you end up very often with a 10 power Havoc, a 9 to plus power thena, US agent that represents like 11 power, so on and so forth. So this list doesn't look like it has a lot of power to it, but it really does. It has Cosmo to protect all that stuff and stop opponent stuff. Very, very cool list. Again, we're going to credit KM Best for this. You can find KM Best at twitch.tv/KMBestMS. Our friend Zodrex, who you can find at Zodrex74, also played this list to great success on the Infinite Ladder. This deck needs three high series cards. You need US Agent, Ancient Venom, and Sage. Those three are required. US Agent at 2 for his power is basically the best thing at shutting down giant opponent lanes. Players using things like Doom 2099 just should fear US Agent. Agent Venom is one of the two ways you have to mitigate the low base power of the deck along with Bast. You do need two ways. And Sage is just your big end game power. You could like try a Wolfsbane, you could try a Juggernaut there, but they are so much worse than Sage in this current meta in that matchup. For this list, Nico is good in that the draw two is good, the doubling is good. She's got a lot of viable strategies, but she's not in any way, shape, or form a requirement. Feel free to run Kate, Bishop, or Iceman. Havoc or Thena can be Angela. You do need Havoc or Thena. They get significantly bigger than Angela in this list. If you do run Angela, make your Nico Kitty Pride. Wait, Kitty's in this. What am I talking about? Excuse me. Wee. All right, Red Guardian here could be Rogue, and Bruce can be Cassandra or Elsa Bloodstone. Just a reminder, I know Elsa Bloodstone is a Series 5 card, but if you've been doing your daily logins, Elsa Bloodstone is free either later today or tomorrow on the daily login track. So you'll have Elsa if you need to. So again, I got a pretty quick infinite ticket with this on streams. Good list. I lost that first game to that crazy Death Strike thing, and then after that, I absolutely crushed three straight games where my opponents just couldn't handle it and often ended up giving up in frustration. This is very, very, very good into the meta right now, and it's a lot of power that the opponents have to deal with. Turn one, you want Bast if you have good targets, and Hood is sort of your key target here. There's a lot of good targets, but not dealing with a -3 on the board is pivotal. You have three ways to deal with that Hood. It is Bast, it is Agent Venom, and it is doing something, either turning into a demon or blowing it up with Nico. Do not just play the Hood otherwise. So turn one is Bast if good targets, Kitty if not. Turn two, Agent Venom over Bruce. Turn three is a 2+1 or a 1+1 if Bruce. Turn 4, 2+1. Turn 5, generally speaking, what I was generally going for is Havoc and US Agent. And then turn 6, Demon and Sage. And if I didn't play Havoc on 5, I can play Havoc and Sage on 6. Havoc is almost always a 2-3, which means he's going to be at least a 2-7. And if he triggers twice, he's a 2-11. Sage is often completely huge. Everything here has different powers despite the 3s in the deck because you have your growing and scaling cards that Sage is able to really go over the top with. Cool. This list is very good. I don't know how else to put it. I did not expect a lot When I tried it, I thought I was going to be really disappointed in both the list and Bruce. I don't think Havoc is an especially good card. I don't think Bruce is an especially good card, but in the right shell, cards and decks come together. This is the best Thena has felt in weeks for me. This is the best Havoc has felt possibly ever for me. Give this list a try. I don't think you'll regret it. I also don't think you'll regret hitting that sub button this Christmas, where we will give you a video every single day in Marvel Snap. We haven't missed a day since we started. You get 7 days a week of videos. We didn't miss a day when my appendix burst. We don't miss days. If you want at least 3 Marvel Snap decks every single day, this is the channel for you. Make sure you hit that sub, make sure you like, make sure you comment, and you will get a deck every day. We also give away more season passes than anyone. We're giving away a Galacta this week. Next week, we're going to start giving away our new season pass card, which is going to be what's it called? Iron Patriot. So we're going to give away 5 Iron Patriots this week, while this week we're giving away a Galacta. All you have to do is hit that sub button, like, and then later this video leave a comment, and you are entered to win. If you want an extra chance to win that Galacta, check the end of yesterday's video because there's another Galacta giveaway there. We're also doing some giveaways on streams, so if you're interested on that, please check that out as well. All right, longtime viewers should know this list. I took this to rank 80. I'm actually currently rank 66. I've been playing a number of other lists from rank 80, but I took this from about rank 120 to rank 80 with a really, really great. I had a 69% win rate in that climb. I've fallen like 2% since then, but the cube rate is through the roof. This deck is insanely good right now. A lot of people are playing things like Bruce Banner, things like Doom 2099, things that play very few cards early, like Wiccan, where there's just 1 or 2 cards on the board. This list eats those alive. It goes over the top. If your opponents aren't running counters, and Red Guardian can beat this, but if your opponents aren't running counters, this list is insane. And your opponent's often going to snap on a Red Guardian on Morbius or Dracula. Generally speaking, Morbius, the way I play it, I try to leave Morbius out there as like a target. You can still win very, very easily, right? Because if your other lane, you have Dracula to win a lane, right? But if your other lane has Strong Guy and MODOK, that's 17 power right there. You add, say, a Colleen, right? And a Scorn. And now you're at probably another 8. You're at like 25 power lane. And then you just got another 25, 30 power lane from Apocalypse, and you can win. Obviously, if they can't interact with Morbius and Dracula and you see the right order of stuff, you just go off. Obviously, sometimes you're also just going to discard the wrong things and it's not going to work. You retreat for 1, you know when that happens quickly, you see the snap, you walk away. But people stay in because they don't realize that this deck can often put up 30 power in multiple lanes, and when it does so, you just go over the top. The best feeling in the world is MODOK on 5 with Scorn and Apocalypse in hand, and then top decking Dracula on 6 and going Dracula into Scorn on 6. You've got like an 8 power Dracula in one lane that's going to go over the top, and sorry, an 8 power Scorn in one lane that's going to go over the top, and then your Dracula is like 20 to 25 power out of nowhere. It's back freaking breaking. Other amazing feelings. You get the immediate snap off going Morbius into Gambit into Grandmaster. You didn't hit your thing twice. Oops, you win, right? Like your opponent can do nothing in these situations. You just put out so much power while wiping their board. This list is absolutely incredible. This is the single best discard I have ever played. The creator of this list, or the creator of the shell for this version, when Scorn came out, was BBAK. You can find it at twitter.com/BBK_snap. One of the best Marvel Snap players ever. #1 player on the Infinite Leaderboard in February. We've got Scorn and MODOK as 2 cards that are required here. I used to think that Scorn could be Helicarrier. I no longer think that. I think Scorn is just too good, and Helicarrier requires you to play way, way, way too carefully. Proxima and Grandmaster are replaceable. We're talking Lady Sif and Swarm. And there is another extremely high win rate version that doesn't run Malekith, instead runs Fenris, and then puts Moon Knight in for Grandmaster and uses the Fenris discard slash Gambit card as a way to get some extra power on the board. That version has a higher win rate overall. I did not have anywhere near the successes that I had with this version, so to each their own. My win rate this season with this in all infinite, all high infinite, all within the top 200 or so, I haven't been below 200 except for like 2 or 3 games all season, is 23 and 12, 66% with plus 46 cubes. That is well over a 1.0 cube rate at the highest levels of infinite. Turn 1, you want Blade if you've got the right target. The right targets being the 3 discard cards, which would be Scorn, Apocalypse, and Proxima. Sometimes you'll be a little careful with Proxima, but fairly often I'm just dropping it. Turn 2, you want Morbius over Colleen if Scorn, and you're only playing Colleen early if Scorn, you're not just going to play it cold. Turn 3, you want Morbius over Gambit, which is more or less equal to Strong Eye. Depends what's in your hand. If you have multiple good targets in hand, you will take the Gambit math. Um, Gambit's the only really dangerous discard here, and you have to be careful with it, right? But if you have two or three good targets, or like you have two good targets, a target you don't care about, and then just like one bad target, I'll usually just Gambit, and if I lose the 25%, I lose the 25%. It's instructive to Bruce Banner too, right? Like sometimes you just have to take that chance. Turn 4, you want Dracula over Malekith, which is generally better than 2/2s, and the 2/2s usually means Grandmaster on Colleen, Blade, or Gambit, with either with a Modok as a general rule. Um, Perfectly fine. Sometimes you're just going to drop straight up Colleen and um, Grandmaster here, especially if you've got Scorn in hand. Getting those two triggers on Scorn is often really powerful. Scorn in hand at the end of the game isn't the goal, but once in a while it's enough on Dracula. If you can tell they're just avoiding the Dracula lane, right? If they're just not playing anything in the Dracula lane, you can just build yourself a big Apocalypse and a big Scorn, leave the Scorn in hand, and cold play the Apocalypse just fine. Uh, Turn 5 is sometimes Modok, but fairly often it's the Dracula or Malekith instead, especially if you haven't seen Gambit. Malekith to hit Gambit is often huge. Malekith to hit Grandmaster, make sure you play Malekith on a side lane if you can keep center lane space, because that second trigger is really, really strong too. If Malekith hits Strong Guy, that's a 15 power card, assuming you were able to get your discards off. So, and if it's discarding an extra Dracula, now it's getting that extra power, right? Like if you're hitting a Blade or whatever that does that. There's just a ton of power in Malekith in this list. It is very often completely huge in ways that don't often make sense. The only really bad hit is Scorn most of the time. Then you want, and like your downside of hitting Grandmaster here is you played a 4/9. If you had to play it middle and didn't have space, right? Like, fine. And sometimes you're going to get lucky and hit like a Gambit that way or whatever else, right? Like, because you'll play Malekith on top of the Gambit, and then like sometimes the Grandmaster will hit Malekith, sometimes it'll hit Gambit. It's great. Turn 6, if you didn't play Modok yet, is usually Modok along with Scorn. You can also drop Apocalypse, or you can play multiple discarders. Sometimes you just have like two or three little cheap discards in hand. Feel free to drop them, especially if you have a Dracula out for that extra last discard. Be careful with Strong Guy, but outside of that, it doesn't super duper matter. Cool. This list is, again, insane. I've been absolutely dominating with it. That Surfer list I featured 2 or 3 days ago is the other list I'm playing really consistently at High Infinite. So these have been my most successful lists. Um, I'm currently, I believe, around rank 66 as of this recording. Give these lists a try. I think that this one in particular can get you to Infinite, can get you to High Infinite. Once you learn the ins and outs of it, you retreat wisely, you're going to have a lot of success with this list. We're going to look at a Revis list next, but first we have to talk about Dokken. This Dokken was created by an artist named Cameron Stewart, who has some fairly serious allegations against him. If you'd like to look it up, please feel free. But this Dokken was also in Spotlights last week with Doom 2099, which means a lot of people got him. They are removing this Dokken from the game. If you got this Spotlight Dokken last week, you are getting the new Dokken by in Hyukli and a Spotlight key back and 700 gold. So you get enough for a rare variant. You get the Spotlight key you spent on it back, and you get a new copy of Dokken. That's a really, really great deal. I wish that they would find artists that didn't have this kind of thing happening, but look, life happens, and you're never going to be perfect with this kind of research when you buy art from Marvel in particular. And as long as they keep having really cool compensation, I'll be happy. Now, one last thing to note: we don't know if this in Hyuk variant will be the one we actually get. It's just I went to Hyuk Lee's Instagram and we found this variant of Dakin on his Instagram, and it seems reasonably likely. And I think this one's incredible, and now I'm really, really hopeful that this is the one we end up getting, even though I think that's actually Wolverine, not Dakin, based on where the claws are. Don't super care. This is real, real cool. All right, season pass question. What's the best gift you ever received? What is your favorite thing that you have ever gotten for any holiday, birthday, Christmas, anything along those lines? All right, next up, if you'd like to check out one of my streams, I'm streaming almost every day at twitch.tv/pulseglazer. Once the break ends and I get my life back into a schedule, I will build a full schedule of streaming so that you can check it out. But I'm also streaming fairly impromptu. Please check out twitch.tv/pulseglazer. I stream games there. I build Series 3 decks. I record this video. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, please check it out. As long as you follow, turn that notification on, you'll get notified when I'm live and we can hang out. Next up, we have Revis 4s. Revis is one of the best deck builders in Marvel Snap. And he took the Force deck, uh, which has been sort of around since Galactic came back, and and figured out how to make it a Doom 2099 deck, and I think it's absolutely great right now. It's got three different play lines I'm going to talk about before we go forward. You can just get Doom out. If you get Doom out, you've just got a ton of power, right? You can go Doom, ideally on turn 3, into like a Galacta, into an Iron Man, into a Doom 2099, or Legion Doom 2099, and you win. You can go Galacta into whatever other nonsense you want. You can play things like Iron Lad or Jeff or Iron Man, and then you just get a ton of power because Galacta is completely correct. Or you can go, like if you miss that, you can go Luke Cage into Anti Venom, into like an Iron Man and a free thing into a Doom. And you have just a million ways to get out points and power with this list. It's really, really cool. You can find Revis at twitch.tv/RevisSnap. He is, again, one of the top deck builders in the game, one of the top players. He plays more Conquest now than Ladder, but he was one of the top Ladder players when that was his focus. He's excellent. This deck needs 3 high series cards: Zebu, Galacta, and Doom 2099. Hydra Bob and Jeff, Iceman, America Chavez, Cable, Mirage. Anti-Venom or Iron Lad can be Jubilee and Captain Marvel. In fact, I think I'd really like Captain Marvel in this list. And Legion can be Vision. Just pick your poison as a 5. Turn 1, you want Zabu over Bob. Turn 2, Psylocke over Jeff, but also Zabu over Jeff. Turn 3, Galacta is more or less equal to Doom. It's going to depend on your hand. That's generally better than Iron Lad, which is generally better than Anti-Venom, because Iron Lad can be Galacta or Doom, which is generally better than Anti-Venom, which is generally speaking better than Luke. If you played Anti-Venom, you're going to play the 0-cost card with Luke later anyway, so you might as well just play Anti-Venom first so you know what you have. Turn 4, you want Galacta, which is more or less equal to Doom, which is better than Lad, or Anti-Venom, or Luke. Crazy, I think I wrote that already. Turn 5, you want Iron Man or Legion, or a 4-drop. Perfectly fine. Iron Man, if you can just go over the top of the lane, be wary, Rogue and Red Guardian are around. And Legion, if you can just scam a victory. Turn 6 is Doom, or you can play Iron Man and a 1. We're going to finish up this video with what is still the best Phoenix Force list in the game. And when I say the best Phoenix Force list in the game, longtime viewers should immediately be screaming Jet. One last look at Revis 4s, and then we're going to tell you about the Stream Team. If you'd like to see gameplay from all these decks outside of my stream, you could check out the Stream Team. Today, this Christmas, I gave you my heart, and I gave you Gaming with Flash X from 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern. He will be streaming these lists. In addition, we've got a bundle. This bundle is the Vincenzo Riccardi Loki. For 7,500 gold and $50, you get this gorgeous Loki that I gave away on stream yesterday, or in a little bit for the people watching me record this live. This is 215% progress value, even without this being a Series 5 card. That is insane progress value. That is top notch, some of the best progress value they give. Great, great value. If you have any use for the gold, this is an excellent buy. And hey, spoiler, there's a ridiculous, in late February, there's a ridiculous Anti-Venom bundle coming out for like 4,500 gold. If you buy this and save your gold, you can then buy that and turn that into multiple Series 5 cards, which is just an incredible deal. I think that that's great. I think that this is must buy if you own Loki. However, if you don't own Loki, you also get a Series 5 card out of the deal, plus the ability to buy at least one other Series 5 card, uh, potentially 2, because 7,500 is a lot more than 4,500, right? It puts you at least in striking distance with weekly missions of buying another 2 Series 5 cards. That's insane. This is great, great value. I think you should probably get this bundle if you can afford it. Get yourself a Christmas present, y'all. Next up, we have Old Buddha. Yep, we Buddha. It is Jet's deck. This is so on stream. Jet was recently asked, "So what is the best Phoenix Force list in Marvel Snap?" And he said the Buddha one, and then he played it, won like 65% of his games, and then tweeted, "This is still the best Buddha list." This is the Phoenix Force list that you should be playing if you're willing to learn the archetype as an archetype, not as a sub package of other stuff. This list is incredibly strong and incredibly consistent if you decide to play. This list also has 18 play lines. Like, it is ridiculous, utterly, utterly ridiculous how many different play lines that this list has. You've got play lines for Deadpool, you've got play lines for Nico, and then you've got different play lines for both Human Torch and Multiple Man. So there's a lot of different ways to play this list. You can start with, like, if you get Deadpool going, I pressed the wrong button, excuse me. If you get Deadpool going with buffs, with whether that be Hulkbuster or whatever else, and you can destroy that a couple times, all of a sudden your last destroy with Venom leads to an amazing Zola. Or if you do that a little bit sooner, you can also make a copy of it and get multiple big old Deadpools really, really quickly, which are lane winning. You can do the same basic thing with Human Torch without destroy, but with copies, with moving it with um, Ghost Spider, Hulkbuster, and Doctor Strange. Same thing again with multiple men. You can make yourself a huge Venom by just making a reasonably sized lane, eating it, and then Zoling it. And of course, you have the Nico plans. The main one being get Nico, destroy two, make that be a Phoenix Force plan. But there's also Nico times two with Hulkbuster, makes a 10 power card. If you eat that and Phoenix Force it, you have a 20 power card that you can then Zola, or you can try and win another lane another way with your movable 20 power card. Or you can go Nico into Hulkbuster into copy, and now you have multiple 1/5s, and then you can destroy that, and then you have a movable 110 with Phoenix Force. Multiple movable 110s with Phoenix Force, which is again just silly. Oh, sorry. There's also obviously just drop a Hulkbuster on multiple man, move that a couple times, and then try and get power with one of the other game plans. There's a lot to do with this list. It is very hard to play, but incredibly, incredibly awesome. You can find Jet streaming the best Phoenix Force in the game at twitch.tv/Jet13. This deck needs Phoenix Force and Nico Minoru. Alioth can be Hulkling, Iron Lad, or Heimdall. Ghost Spider can be Iron Fist or Aranya. Those are both big hits. Just a quick note to anyone who's not aware, replacements don't mean this is as good as, they mean you can still play this with. Cool? All right, we got a classic for you for Christmas. Turn one, you want Nico, if destroy or combo with Hulkbuster, um, or double copy. Cool. So you want Nico if it has destroy, or if you have Hulkbuster and either the double or copy. That's better than Deadpool if Hulkbuster. Deadpool if Hulkbuster is obviously the game plan itself. You destroy that twice, and you should be good to go. Turn two, if you have Deadpool and Hulkbuster and you have Nico on something not good, that's fine. You play Deadpool, you play Hulkbuster, you then destroy the Deadpool, and eventually you'll get the destroy Nico, and then you've got that extra destroy you want. I do like Deathlock in this. It's sad to me that it doesn't fit. Turn two, you want Nico, you want to destroy Multiple Man or Torch if Phoenix Force, or you can do the Hulkbuster stuff with Nico or Deadpool. Sometimes you just pass. That's what Weebuddha means. Weebuddha means we don't actually have to start doing things until turn three. Three, destroy a Phoenix Force or Deadpool. Turn four, Phoenix Force to set up a big lane to destroy. Turn five, Phoenix Force or set up a big lane to destroy. If you start moving multiple mans around, that's fine. Or you can just try and gather yourself a nice powerful lane so that you can Venom it and then Zola that lane. Turn five, Phoenix Force and Ghost Spider or Stranger Phoenix Force. You can also drop a big Venom. You can also, if you've managed to get all your destroys off on Deadpool, just leave a naked big old Deadpool in a lane for Zola later. Turn six is nice and simple. Zola or Alioth, and then you win. This list remains absolutely top notch. Very few people play it, very few people talk about it, but it is still one of the best ways to win in Marvel Snap. If Jet had interest in just grinding for number one instead of playing his cool Phoenix Force misery nonsense, I have very little doubt that he would be in the top three of the game with this exact list. Cool. Give this one a try. It's a learning process deck, much like Move Bounce, much like Bounce proper, but regardless, once you learn it, this is one of the most powerful things to do in Marvel Snap. Questions of the day. Spectrumus asks what card I'd still play if nerfed, and I mean, the cards I play even after they're nerfed, I've always found ways to play kitty decks and I've always found ways to play beast decks. I just love those cards. I think they're absolutely stellar. I don't really care that they're nerfed, that they're significantly worse than their previous versions. I love them, and so I still put them in decks and I still play them, even when they weren't meta. I was still playing bounce decks, and bounce is not meta right now, or at least regular bounce is not meta right now, but it's still one of my most played decks and one of my more successful decks of the season because I really, really enjoy it. I don't care that they took out those cards. An example of a card that is nerfed that I don't like nearly as much as Agent Venom. I just cut Agent Venom from my bounce list, which is now because I replaced it with Shadow King and all gold list, which makes me very happy. But outside of that, I just don't enjoy the card. I don't like it. Um, it doesn't feel good in anything but that very first list of today's video. Yeah, okay. I am Frostman asks my favorite Christmas time tradition. And I think my favorite Christmas time tradition is so it's a toss up, but I'm gonna go with one particular one. It's watching basketball with my dad on Christmas. There's not really great games this year, but it's fine. The Nick game is usually on reasonably early. Um, now we get to watch with my son, who absolutely has no interest whatsoever and watches and complains, but he has fun complaining. It's really a joy. But that's I think, my favorite thing to do on Christmas Day proper. A reminder to people who are working their way through Series 3, I will build you decks if you join our Discord. There's some instructions there how to do it. If you need some decks for your early collection level play, let me know. Certain tiers of support on our Patreon come with on-air thanks. I'm going to say thank you to a whole bunch of people now. Get yourself ready. If you'd like to be one of them, check out patreon.com/snapjudgments. Thank you and happy holidays to Abigail Giesland, to Mandatory Burnout, Regardless, David G. Wingfield, Dirty Casual, Danton, LAB, FaThorNewman, hope you're doing well, Newman, Good Dog Gamer, Inc., The Graphite Fan. I am Frostman. Hey, Frostman, thanks for watching this live. J. Neroit, YOLO Potato, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Thinking Poker. Check out that podcast if you're interested in poker strategy. Primed Ryan, Ryan Burke, and Ryan Wood. It's the Ryan Town, also Primed Ryan. You should check out the Prime Mind app if you would like some mental health exercise. We've got Caretix Lee, Corey, Kazushi, and Archangel 3K. It's the 4K gang. We got Black Dahlia, Perofros, the Goat Seeker. Hi, Goat Seeker. Thank you for watching right now. Hollowed, Quid, Pro, Joe, Snap Decisions, Joe. We are on Snap Decisions podcast if you want to check that out. And by we, I mean me and Gunny. Gunny and I. Yeah, Gunny and I are on Snap Decisions podcast, which should be releasing at some point with Nick the Greek Geek and, of course, Snap Decisions Joe. Right, Nick, Mr. Kerfuffle, who I just played a wonderful game of Snap with. I think I won. I don't remember. Maybe he won. Gables. Hey, Gables. Thanks for watching. I don't know if you're still in the chat, but if you are, hi, Gables. Ginger Prime. Philip Ratkovich, who's taking this week off. Hopefully you're enjoying it, Racco. Haplo. Kenny Loggins of the Danger Zone. Rob Silverman. The Bizza. Black Jeebus 23. Extra Sweet. And Skippy G. Rhyming Friends. Jessica Campbell. Hey, Jess. Hopefully you're doing well, and Merry Christmas. Happy Holidays. Tommy Nyquist, who won Snap Judgment League Season 1. The King of Bros. Bruh. The Great Kazoo, Werewolf, Kev C, Hoda, Lunacris, Corwin, Jug and Jimmy McHugh Town, Clam, Colonel Forbin, hopefully you're doing well, my friend, Gistout, 8th Sage, Mod Supreme Models, the best Osborne Green Goblin, Unibot, what's up, Uni? Thank you for watching. Glad you love Phoenix Force lists. Flan56, Steven, oh, Flan's here. I don't know if Flan is still here, but hi, Flan. Steven, Brian Kaufman, Tristan H. Martin, and Jason B. I don't know why I couldn't say the word Jason. Jesus. Sorry, excuse me. J.D. McDonaldinho. Spectrumix. We just got a question. Hi, Spectrumix. Hoot. Matt H. GJ. Mikey. Hi, Jinx. No frickin' flex. Oculares. Hey, Oculares. Mr. Cricksterry. BG. Zodrex, who you should check out on Twitch. King of Canada, who is both in chat and on Twitch and on YouTube, and you should be following on all the things. Den Man Falcon, who's going to be streaming on Twitch soon and has an awesome YouTube. Make sure you check out Den Man. Awesome human being. Jonesy, the great Jonesy, also on YouTube. Our friend Two Ties, who drove me home from Brookland. Thank you for the ride, Two Ties. Your family is lovely. The great Lauren Whatevs, hopefully having a wonderful holiday out in Whatevs land. The Pirate King Tuccrr. Check him out on Twitch and YouTube and everywhere. You know Tuccrr. And of course, Gunny T, where the T stands for. I hope you have a wonderful celebration and holiday. You can sub by hitting that button at the middle of the screen. There's a great video to the left, a great video to the right if you want to check out more before you commit. But I promise you a great video every single day. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow on Boxing Day. Boxer Day? I don't know. I'm American. Peace.